Leora's childhood was a blend of enchantment and normalcy. Her parents, Alara and Theron, provided a loving home filled with laughter, music, and stories of old. Alara, with her gentle demeanor and nurturing spirit, taught Lyra the values of kindness and empathy. Theron, with his strong hands and creative mind, instilled in her the virtues of hard work and integrity. From an early age, Lyra was a curious child, always asking questions and seeking to understand the world around her. Her parents encouraged her inquisitiveness, often taking her on walks through the bustling markets of Aramore or the tranquil paths of Eldergrove. It was during one of these walks that Lyra first noticed her unique ability. She was just 7 years old when she spotted a small, injured bird on the forest floor. As she cradled the bird in her hands, her eyes began to glow, and she felt a warmth spread through her body. The bird's wing, which had been twisted and broken, slowly began to mend. Within moments, it fluttered its wings and took flight, leaving Lyra in awe of what had just happened. Alara, who had been watching from a distance, rushed to her daughter's side. "Lyra, what did you do?" she asked, her voice filled with both wonder and concern. "I don't know, Mama," Lyra replied, her violet eyes wide with confusion. "I just wanted to help the bird." Alara hugged her daughter tightly, her mind racing with questions. She knew that Lyra was special, but this was beyond anything she could have imagined. She decided to keep the incident a secret, fearing how others might react to Leora's newfound abilities. As the years passed, Leora's powers continued to manifest in subtle ways. She would have vivid dreams of events that had yet to happen, and her ability to heal grew stronger. Alra and Theron did their best to help Lyra understand and control her powers, but they knew that their daughter's destiny was something far greater than they could comprehend. Leora's best friend, Eamon, was the only other person who knew about her abilities. Eamon, with his fiery red hair and mischievous grin, had been Leora's constant companion since they were toddlers. He was fiercely loyal and protective of her, and he vowed to keep her secret safe. One day, while exploring the outskirts of Eldergrove, Lyra and Eamon stumbled upon an ancient, weathered book buried beneath the roots of an old oak tree. The book, bound in leather and adorned with intricate symbols, seemed to pulse with a strange energy. Eamon, ever the adventurous one, eagerly opened the book. "Look at this, Lyra. It's written in a language I've never seen before," he said, his eyes wide with excitement. Leora's eyes glowed as she traced her fingers over the symbols. To her surprise, the letters rearranged themselves into words she could understand. "It's a book of prophecies," she whispered. "It speaks of a girl with eyes that see beyond, who will rise to bring balance to the world." Eamon looked at Lyra, his expression a mix of awe and concern. "Do you think it's talking about you?" Lyra nodded slowly. "I think so, but it also says that with great power comes great danger. I need to be careful." From that day forward, Lyra dedicated herself to understanding the book's prophecies and honing her abilities. She and Eamon spent countless hours in the forest, practicing spells and learning about the ancient magic that flowed through her veins. As Lyra entered her teenage years, her powers continued to grow. She could now heal not only physical wounds but also emotional ones. She could see into people's hearts, understanding their deepest fears and desires. This ability made her both revered and feared by the villagers. One day, a terrible plague swept through Aramore, leaving many people sick and dying. Lyra, guided by the prophecies in the ancient book, realized that she had the power to heal the afflicted. With Eamon by her side, she set up a makeshift clinic in the village square and began to treat the sick. Word of Leora's miraculous healing spread quickly, and people from neighboring villages came to seek her help. 4 weeks, Lyra worked tirelessly, her eyes glowing with a soft, violet light as she healed one person after another. The villagers, once wary of her powers, began to see her as a savior. But not everyone was pleased with Leora's growing influence. The village council, led by a man named Varian, saw her as a threat to their authority. Varian, a stern and ambitious man, believed that Leora's powers were unnatural and dangerous. One night, Varian and a group of his followers confronted Lyra and Eamon as they were returning home from the clinic. Lyra, Varian said, his voice cold and accusing, "Your powers are a danger to our village. You must leave Aramor at once." Lyra stood her ground, her eyes glowing with defiance. "I have only ever used my powers to help others. Why would you want me to leave?" Varian's expression hardened. "Because we cannot control you, and what we cannot control, we fear. You have brought strange and unnatural forces into our midst, and we will not allow it any longer." Eamon stepped forward, his fists clenched. "You're making a mistake, Varian. Lyra has saved countless lives. You should be grateful, not afraid." But Varian and his followers were unmoved. They forced Lyra and Eamon out of the village, warning them never to return. Heartbroken and betrayed, Lyra sought refuge in the forest, finding solace once again beneath the ancient tree. As she sat beneath its branches, the tree spoke to her. "Lyra, you have faced many challenges, but your journey is not yet over. The power you possess is a gift, but it is also a test. You must find the strength within yourself to rise above the darkness and use your gift to bring light to the world." Inspired by the tree's words, Lyra wiped away her tears and set out on a new journey. She and Eamon traveled to distant lands, helping those in need and spreading kindness wherever they went. Along the way, they encountered many challenges and dangers, but Leora's powers and Eamon's unwavering support saw them through. As they traveled, Lyra and Eamon encountered a variety of people, each with their own stories and struggles. In the bustling city of Marindor, they met a young prince named Aidan, who had been cast by a jealous sorcerer. His kingdom was on the brink of collapse, and his people were suffering. Lyra, determined to help, delved into the ancient book of prophecies for guidance. She discovered a spell that could break the curse, but it required a rare and powerful ingredient: the tear of a dragon. Undeterred, Lyra and Eamon set out to find the mythical creature. Their journey took them through treacherous mountains and dark, enchanted forests. Along the way, they encountered various creatures, some friendly and others hostile. They faced countless obstacles, but their determination never wavered. One night, as they camped under the stars, Eamon turned to Lyra. "Do you ever wonder if we're doing the right thing? This quest, it feels impossible at times." Leora's eyes glowed softly as she looked at her friend. "I believe that every challenge we face is a part of our journey. We have to trust in our abilities and the strength of our bond. We will find the dragon and save Prince Aidan." Their resolve was tested when they finally found the dragon's lair, deep within a volcanic cave. The dragon, a majestic and ancient creature named Seraphina, was initially wary of the intruders, but Leora's glowing eyes and pure heart won her over. Seraphina, moved by Leora's courage and compassion, agreed to help. She shed a single tear, which Lyra carefully collected. With the dragon's tear, Lyra and Eamon returned to Marindor and broke the curse, saving Prince Aidan and his kingdom. Grateful for their help, Prince Aidan offered them a place in his court, but Lyra and Eamon knew that their journey was far from over. They thanked Aidan and continued their travels, determined to help those in need. As they traveled through the kingdom of Ilaria, Lyra and Eamon heard rumors of a dark force spreading across the land. Villages were being destroyed, and people were living in fear. Leora's heart ached for those suffering, and she felt a growing sense of urgency to confront this evil. They eventually learned that the source of the darkness was a powerful sorceress named Morgana. Morgana had once been a healer, much like Lyra, but had turned to dark magic in her quest for power. Consumed by jealousy and hatred, she sought to dominate the land and bend it to her will. Determined to stop Morgana, Lyra and Eamon set out for her fortress. Along the way, they encountered a group of rebels who had been fighting against the sorceress. The rebels, led by a brave warrior named Kale, joined forces with Lyra and Eamon, their hope rekindled by the presence of the girl with magical eyes. As they approached Morgana's fortress, Lyra began to have visions of her past. She saw glimpses of her parents, her childhood, and the moment she discovered her powers. These visions were both comforting and unsettling, reminding her of what she was fighting for. In a final confrontation, Lyra faced Morgana, the sorceress, seeing the power in Leora's eyes, tried to manipulate her, offering her wealth and power in exchange for joining forces. But Lyra, her heart pure and her resolve unshaken, refused. The battle was fierce, with magic and swords clashing in a whirlwind of light and darkness. Leora's powers were pushed to their limits, but with Eamon and Kale by her side, she found the strength to defeat Morgana. With the sorceress's death, the darkness that had plagued the land began to dissipate. The people of Valeria rejoiced, and Lyra was hailed as a hero. But Lyra knew that her journey was far from over. She had learned that her powers were not just a gift, but a responsibility. She vowed to continue her quest, helping those in need and spreading light wherever she went. Lyra had been having unsettling dreams for weeks, visions of a dark shadow creeping over the land of Valoria, a neighboring kingdom. She shared her concerns with Eamon, who had also sensed a disturbance. Together, they decided to travel to Valoria to investigate the source of this growing darkness. Valoria was a land known for its vast libraries and learned scholars. Lyra and Eamon headed for the Grand Library in the capital city, where they hoped to find clues about the ominous presence. There they met Lyra, a brilliant young scholar with a passion for ancient texts and prophecies. Lyra had been researching an ancient evil that had once threatened Valoria but had been vanquished centuries ago. Her studies indicated that this evil might be stirring once more. According to these texts, Lyra explained, showing them a dusty old manuscript, there is an artifact known as the Heart of Shadows. It was created to banish the darkness, but if used improperly, it could also amplify it. Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. We need to find this artifact before it falls into the wrong hands. With Lyra's guidance, Lyra and Eamon set out on a perilous journey to locate the Heart of Shadows. Their path took them through dense forests, over jagged mountains, and across vast deserts. They faced numerous challenges, from treacherous terrain to hostile creatures, but Leora's powers and Eamon's unwavering support saw them through. As they journeyed deeper into the wilderness, Leora's visions grew more intense. She saw glimpses of a great battle, of friends in danger, and of a looming darkness that threatened to consume everything. These visions guided them, but they also weighed heavily on Leora's heart. One night, as they camped by a river, Eamon noticed Leora's distress. "You're not alone in this, Lyra. We'll face whatever comes together." Lyra nodded, grateful for his support. "I just hope we're strong enough to stop this darkness." Their journey led them to the ruins of an ancient temple, hidden deep within a jungle. The temple was said to house the Heart of Shadows, but it was also rumored to be heavily guarded. As they approached, they encountered the guardian of the temple, a formidable being named Arian. Arian was a creature of immense power, with eyes that seemed to see into Leora's very soul. "Why have you come here, bearer of the ancient sight?" he asked, his voice echoing through the temple. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes glowing with determination. "We seek the heart of shadows to prevent it from being used for evil." Arian's gaze softened. "Many have come seeking the heart, but few are worthy. You must prove your purity of heart and strength of spirit." A series of trials awaited them within the temple. Lyra, Eamon, and Elara faced challenges that tested their courage, wisdom, and resolve. Each trial brought them closer together, strengthening their bond and their commitment to their quest. The final trial was a fierce battle against dark forces that sought to claim the heart of shadows. Morgana's former apprentice, a sorcerer named Marlek, led the attack. Marlek had turned to dark magic, believing it would grant him ultimate power. The battle was intense, with magic and swords clashing in a whirlwind of light and darkness. Leora's powers were pushed to their limits, but she drew strength from her friends and the ancient tree's guidance. With a final, powerful surge of energy, Lyra defeated Marlek and secured the Heart of Shadows. Breathing heavily, Lyra approached the artifact. It was a beautiful yet ominous object, pulsing with dark energy. "We must be careful with this," she said. "Its power is great, but so is its potential for destruction." Arian appeared beside them, his expression one of solemn pride. "You have proven yourselves worthy. The Heart of Shadows is safe in your hands." With the artifact secured, the darkness that had been threatening Valoria began to recede. The people of Valoria hailed Lyra, Eamon, and Elara as heroes, but Lyra knew that their journey was far from over. The artifact needed to be protected, and there were still many who would seek its power for evil. As time passed, Leora's influence extended beyond Aramor. She and Eamon traveled to distant lands, helping those in need and spreading hope. Elara continued her scholarly work, documenting their adventures and ensuring that the knowledge of the ancient magic was preserved. Their efforts led to the formation of a coalition of kingdoms dedicated to protecting the world from dark forces. Leora's powers, once a source of fear, became a beacon of hope and light. She and Eamon's bond deepened, hinting at a future filled with love and shared purpose. One day, as Lyra stood atop a hill overlooking Aramor, she reflected on her journey. She had faced many challenges and made many sacrifices, but she had also found strength, friendship, and love. She knew that the future held many more challenges, but she was ready to face them with courage and hope. The girl with the magical eyes had become a legend, a symbol of light in a world that often seemed dark, and her story would continue to inspire generations to come, a reminder that true power lies not in the abilities we possess, but in the choices we make and the love we share. The moral of the tale of Lyra, the girl with magical eyes, can be summarized as follows. True strength and greatness come not from the powers we possess, but from how we choose to use them. Compassion, courage, and unity are the keys to overcoming darkness and achieving true harmony in the world. The impact of one person's actions can inspire and uplift many, creating a legacy that endures beyond their own lifetime.